Now I'm standing here with a man who's been there, seen it, and I imagine he's done it as well. I've got Trevor Butterfield. How are you, sir?
I'm very fine. Well, yeah, good.
I've just been saying I come up to Trevor's table and I'm looking at the images he has on display for sale and thinking, what would I give to be in most of those scenes, even not all of those scenes. But Trevor, you've appeared as various characters in the franchise. For the benefit of those listening, do you mind just describing who you've appeared as?
Well, I've appeared on Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. On Empire Strikes Back, I was an Imperial officer.
Yep.
Which obviously
just behind Darth Vader.
You can't see that because there's no film. But yeah, I mean that was a fun job. I mean that was what 43 years ago. So yeah, I mean happy memories.
Yeah, and that was at a time it was following up from the biggest film of all time in what was then just called Star Wars.
Well, it was, yes. I mean, the first one was very low budget.
Yes,
and then obviously
became what it did.
So iconic that.
Did it feel big on? Did it feel special on set?
Well, I wasn't on the first one.
Like, I mean, for the sequel, I mean, did that following up from the biggest film?
Yes,
did that feel special?
That, well, it can't be as good as the first one.
Yeah.
Everybody, but
at the time, though,
in fact, it was better.
At the time, I mean, critically, I mean, at the time, it wasn't as well received as it has been in hindsight.
No, but I think my favourite one is Jedi. That was my favourite film to work on as well.
There he is, right there. I'm looking at you there.
Several characters.
Yep.
And yes, I mean, we had fun times. There was about a group of 12 of us, sort of, always in different costumes. So if you was the right height and you fitted a costume, then obviously you got the job.
No. And so, what was your favourite on-set memory? Because I can see you looking fondly at your memories here. Did you have any favourite on-set memories?
Well, on-set memory was probably the gunner in the Millennium Falcon, because that was quite a long sequence. But unfortunately, it was edited out of the film. Yeah,
it's available to watch now, isn't it?
It's available
you can
to watch
get
now
it
on YouTube, or you can see it on the Blu-ray outtakes.
Yeah.
But, yes, I mean, I was looking forward to seeing that in the film, but it wasn't to be.
You are in Return of the Jedi, though, as the infamous bounty hunter Bossk. You took over from Alan Harris, is that correct?
Absolutely, yes. The story was that they wanted a publicity shot of all the bounty hunters.
Yep.
And Jeremy Bulloch wasn't in that particular day. So they asked Alan to put the costume on because it was the same height and he'd already wore it before.
Yep.
And I was a stormtrooper on that particular day. And I was just walking by and I was stopped.
How's your luck?
Trevor, take the stormtrooper costume off and put the Bossk costume on.
And you're more than happy to do so.
I was more than happy to do so. And then, you see, I played him in a couple of scenes further than that. And it was just being at the right place at the right time.
Yeah, no. And, I mean, who would you class, if I could ask, as what character means the most to you from the ones that you've played, or are you just happy to be part of it?
Blount. That's sort of... He's in several scenes, obviously.
On the Falcon, especially, up in the briefing
in the Falcon,
as well,
yeah. So, that was probably my favourite character.
And you can see your face as well.
You're not under my face, you can see me. And then Bossk was, as you say, he's an iconic character in himself, so that was good to play him.
And how do you feel the franchise has gone since the films that you worked on? Because we've obviously had the prequels, now the sequels, and of course these streaming series.
I haven't seen the prequels. I'm not really a Star Wars fan, to be honest. No. I mean, it was a job at the time. I enjoyed it, but
then move on to the next one.
To the next
one.
Of
course. Yeah. So, in that sense, then obviously you're here today in base Essex, and we thank you for that. What does Star Wars mean to you? Obviously, because you said you're not the biggest fan, which is honesty, which we love. But what does it mean to you, having been part of this franchise? I guess even seeing how big it has become and iconic, the characters you played are.
I'm happy because it allows me to go to cons and meet people like yourself. I've met some very interesting people over the years. who are really dedicated Star Wars fans.
Yeah, we do.
And I have been converted, unfortunately, at the moment. But
we've got to try, everyone.
No, it's been a great experience to work on.
Yep.
I never realised that it would get so iconic.
Well, that's the thing, is it? Because when you're behind the scenes, I guess, like you say, you're there working and doing the job.
Sure.
You don't maybe notice it until afterwards, and you think, "Wow!" Step back and think, that was huge.
Yeah. Well, it was huge. Yes. Yeah. I mean, I didn't realise all this con business went on until I was contacted about 12 years ago.
Okay, so you're fairly new to the circuit.
Yeah,
then,
I mean, people, really enjoy the chats, the stories, and it's great to have apart from meeting the people, it's just nice to see the costumes that people wear as well.
They're very faithful, some of them, aren't they?
Yes, they
Superb.
are, yes. Yeah.
I'm looking about on Empire. Were you working on Elstree or Pineswood, or were you actually out
it was Elstree?
Yeah, okay. I was going to say, because if you're working in Norway and then coming to Death Valley,
no, I never
America,
went away, on location. It was always at Elstree.
No, you'd never tell, because firstly the guys at Elstree have always done a fabulous job. But no, Trevor, thank you so much for joining us on
been a pleasure.
On the podcast today, and we certainly hope within the next few years you'll become a Star Wars super fan like the rest of us.
Who knows? That could be converted. You never know.
Thank you.